Hey y'all, it's Crystal. Welcome back. Thanks so much for stopping in. We're just gonna do a book haul today. I got a little stack. Got a little stack of things because I have no control. That's okay. That's okay. So I got a mix of things. I got some used bookstore stuff. I got some thrift store stuff. I got some little free library finds. I got a small book outlet order. No control. And my book of the month. So let's get cracking. So a few things I picked up at my used bookstore recently. They have a 50-cent table, which I always go check out because you never know what you'll find there. And I found some things. You know what I'm saying? So When Gravity Falls by George Alec Effinger. I think it's a cyberpunk story. In a decadent world of cheap pleasures and easy death, Marad Aldrin has kept his independence and his identity the hard way. Still, like everything else in the Boudin, he is available for a price. A new kind of killer roams the streets of the decadent Arabic ghetto. A madman whose bootlegged personality cartridge range from a sinister James Bond to a sadistic disemboweler named Khan. So it gives me vibes of, what was that movie with Ray Fiennes? Jeez, I'm not going to remember the name of it now. Where you can put the headset, the little thing on your head, and you can live your memories, and you can get other people's memories. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. You're screaming it at me right now. I get the vibe of that one. I found another John Creasy book. I'd found a Creasy book a couple months ago. One of the Toff books. This is a Dr. Palfrey suspense adventure, The Plague of Silence. There's a big stain on the book, but whatever. It looks like maybe just some water damage. But the first victim was a housewife discovered paralyzed, unable to move, unable to talk. 2 doctors examined her and died. Murdered! But the murderers made one mistake. One of the victims was an agent for Z5, the secret international organization headed by Dr. Palfrey. Soon, Palfrey knew he was up against a group that would stop at nothing, including the complete destruction of the world, to win their objective in world domination. That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. And man, Garbaugust contender. I'm trying to get my TBR together for Garbaugust, and I have so many things to choose from. I'm actually finding it really hard. But anyway, I found this Time Pressure by Spider Robinson. I realize this is book 2 of a series because that's what. But I think you can read these, you don't have to read them necessarily in order, but they're just kind of loosely related. The first book, probably not going to be listed. Let's see. Yeah, I don't remember now. It doesn't matter. Okay, but this one is A Strange Blue Light has brought a visitor to an American commune in Nova Scotia. The visitor's name is Rachel, a beautiful woman from another civilization and another time. Her one-way mission is simple: collect data on the past of the human race. But why does she seek immortality for this mission? Why are her methods so seductive, so devastating? And will this emissary from the future destroy Earth's path? Only time will tell. I'm telling you, man, it sounds amazing. And it's not very long, so I just keep adding to the possible Garbaugust file. John E. Smith's Manhattan Transfer. Some aliens come by. They literally take all of Manhattan, they pluck it up and take it somewhere. Kidnapped into space by an unknown alien force, humans trapped on the island are faced with a baffling enigma. An artificial dawn reveals the city encased in a bubble rests on a vast plain surrounded by dozens of other bubbles containing a multitude of alien cultures. Is this some sort of cosmic zoo exhibit or part of a scientific experiment gone horribly awry? Or this last line, or perhaps fresh groceries. That just sounds like a hoot. So yeah, 50 cents, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to turn stuff like that down for 50 cents. I'm just saying. I picked this one up. It's called Shine. This is an anthology. I thought it sounded cool. An anthology of near future optimistic science fiction. A lot, of course, especially dystopian, post-apocalyptic type stuff is, of course, kind of usually negative and doom and gloom. So maybe some optimistic things. I mean, that actually sounds really cool. So this is edited by, what is that? Jesse DeVries. I'm not quite sure how it is around that. But there's stories from Alistair Reynolds, Jason Andrew, Madeline Ashby, Sylvia Moreno Garcia, Holly Phillips, Gareth Powell. I mean, a bunch of folks. I don't know, it just sounds, some little positivity, you know? Sounds pretty great. I like this cover. Some little kind of a elf looking. It's a fairy looking lady. Okay. I think this might be my last one off the 50 cent table. I picked up a Stephen Baxter book. This is Coalescent. Coalescent, yes. So when his father dies suddenly, George Poole stumbles onto a family secret. I love this. He has a twin sister he never knew existed, who was raised by an enigmatic cult called the Order. Like, that is all I need to know. That is all I need to know. I've never read Stephen Baxter yet. And 50 cent, I'm not going to turn it down. It's over 500 pages. I don't care. I want to know what this is going on in this book. Yes, it sounds amazing. So I think that's on my 50 cent pile. I'm missing a book. Where's my other book? Oh, here it is. I also picked up at my used bookstore. And this is absolutely going to be read for Garbagus, or at least some of it, is Angora Fever, the collected short stories of Edward D. Wood Jr. Yeah. So this, let's see, edited by Bob Blackburn. So Bob Blackburn was a close friend of Ed's widow, Kathy. So yeah. Then this, actually, I looked, and it just had came out in, was it 2019? Let me look. Yeah, 2019. So this hadn't been out too terribly long. But this this collects a lot of his stories from like the 70s, it looked like. So, and stuff that he had put in kind of pulpy magazines and things like that. And it's like 60 stories in here. So I'm definitely not going to get to probably every story in Garbagus, but I'm going to try to get the most of it. Stories like Hitchhike to Hell, The Hooker, Bums Rush Terror, The Last Void, Star of Hell, Captain Fellatio Hornblower. I mean, where did Charlie get off the train? The Damned Faceless Fog. That sounds amazing. The Devil and the Deep Blue-Eyed Blonde, Time, Space, and the Ship. The Exotic Lives of the Vampire. I mean, I'm telling you, it goes on and on and on. I cannot wait to read these stories. I cannot wait. I can't wait. So you don't know Ed Wood. Most people probably know, but he's considered like the worst director of all time, worst film director of all time. He did movies like Plan 9 from Outer Space and Glenn and Glenda. What's that other one? I don't remember anything else now, of course. Bride of the Monster. Yeah, so I jumped. I literally just was like, you know, when you kind of see something when you're shopping and you kind of literally gasp. Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did. Okay. Some thrift store finds. Just a few from a couple of weeks ago. The Grip of It by, is it Jacques Jemp? I'm not even sure how to pronounce that. I don't know, this book always sounded cool to me. It doesn't have the best ratings, but it always sounded cool to me. It's like I think kind of a haunted house type of story. So touring their prospective suburban home, Julie and James are stopped by a noise, a deep and vibrating like throat singing, ancient, husky, and rasping, but underwater. That's just the house settling, the real estate agent assures them with a smile. He is wrong. I mean, it's a classic kind of haunted house setup. I don't know. Let me know if you read this, because it sounded cool to me. And I always liked the cover of it. It's kind of like almost childlike drawing and lettering. I'm going to give it a go. I mean, that's for sure. You know, someday. Green Valley, What Hides Beneath the Surface by Louis Greenberg. I think this one sounds cool. So I hadn't heard a lot of people talk about it, I think, since it came out. When did this one come out? 2019. So when Lucy Sterling's niece is abducted, she knows it won't be easy to find answers. Stanton is no ordinary city. Invasive digital technology has been banned by public vote. So no surveillance state, no shadowy companies holding databases of information on private citizens, no phones tracking their every move. So I'm thinking that's going to put a wrench in the investigation of this abduction, because they can't track where she is and all that. So I mean, that sounds pretty cool, right? I don't know. Let me know if you read it. I found Ursa Sigurdardottir book, Under the Undesired. I've not read anything by this author, but I've been very interested. So she is an Icelandic author, and I don't know, is this translated? Let's see. Translated by Victoria Cribb, translated from Icelandic. So Aldous is working at a juvenile detention center when she witnesses something deeply disturbing in the middle of the night. Decades later, single father and widower Odin is looking into alleged abuse at the center. And the more he finds out, though, the more it seems the odd events of the past are linked to the present. So, I mean, I love stuff like that. I love, story in the past, story in the present, the things getting interconnected. So it just sounds like a good kind of crime, thriller type book. Sounds interesting to me. I'm going to give it a go. All right. Oops, here is one more of the 50 Cent books. Eon by Greg Bear. This is a bear of a book. But it sounded cool. The 21st century was on the brink of nuclear confrontation with a 300-kilometer long stone. Did I haul this one already? I don't know. If I did, apologies if this is a duplicate, because my piles are all mixed up over here. Anyway, a long stone flashed out of nothingness and into Earth's orbit. They send explorers to the asteroid's surface and discover marvels and mysteries to drive researchers mad. It's a madhouse. So another thrift store pickup is called Diverse Energies. This seems like a science fiction. It says, the future is here. Are you ready? It has edited by Tobias S. Buckell and Joe Monti. Stories featured by Paolo Bacigalupi, Ursula K. Le Guin, Melinda Lowe, Cindy Pond, Daniel H. Wilson, and more. Original and rediscovered stories of tragedy and hope. The stars are a diverse group of students, street kids, good girls, kidnappers, and child laborers pitted against their environments, their governments, differing cultures, and sometimes one another as they seek answers in their dystopian worlds. My kid, oh my god. So, just a click. It just seems like a collection of Baxter! Jesus. Stories. Ken Liu has a story in here. That's probably why I bought it. So yeah. I mean, I think I've mentioned their store. Their paperbacks are 69 cents. So I mean, it's basically free. I can't. So a few little free library pickups. This one is The Skin Artist by George Hovis. And it sounds really cool. And I've just, when I picked it up and looked at it, I noticed that the author is actually a native North Carolinian. I always like to read, from North Carolina authors, even though he doesn't live here anymore. But he is, but he's from here, so that counts. So. And this one sounds pretty cool. So, the morning that Bill Becker awakes to find the butterfly tattoo bleeding on his chest, his upwardly mobile life begins its downward spiral. Exiled from a corporate career and from the failed marriage he left behind in a gated Charlotte community, so it's set here in North Carolina, Bill becomes obsessed with a tattooed dancer named Lucy, who is running from a trauma buried deep in her own past. So Lucy and Bill wrap themselves in new skins of ink wrought by the same artist, a shaman who convinces them that every design will alter their future. So ultimately, they must leave the city and return to the Carolina countryside to confront the skins they shed many years ago. It sounds super interesting. I would love to know if anyone's read this one, because it sounds, like I said, pretty gripping and interesting. And gotta love something set in North Carolina, right? So yeah, I snagged that up out of the little free library. I have 4 little free libraries. They're really very close around to my vicinity. One I check pretty frequently because it's at a park where my kid goes to summer camp. But other ones, they're like on the way here and there. Another little free library was Festival Summer by Charlotte Lamb. This just looks like kind of a gothic romance. Old Harlequin from 1977. Me act professionally? Katrine Starts stared at Max Nielsen. That's a great name, Max Nielsen. Unbelievingly, you can't be serious. But he was. None of her protestations changed his belief, and he called her a coward. Well, maybe she was. Katrine thought she'd always been content to shun the limelight that surrounded her famous family. Now, thanks to Max, she wasn't happy in her Cinderella corner. That sounds amazing. That sounds like a good one. And I actually found an old Mills and Boone of all things in a little free library. This one is called Beware of the Stranger by Janet Daly. So Mills and Boone are a British kind of romance books. So yeah, I mean hardback and everything. You know what I'm saying? 1978 for this one. So Janet is the only daughter of a tycoon father. Samantha Jones was used to men using her simply as a stepping stone to get to know him, and as a result she was highly suspicious of the entire sex, and Chris Andrews was just another in a long line. It goes from there. It sounds fun. Okay, so let's do my little quick book outlet haul. Basically, I just got sad and bought books. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I don't have to explain myself. I work for a living, and I can buy my own bike, but I'm kidding. Yeah, I got sad, so I said, let me just see what book outlets got. You know what I mean? And so what I do a lot of times at book outlet is I check like a favorite author to see if they've got anything, and they had some Margaret Atwoods that I don't have yet. So I bought those. So I've got Bluebeard's Egg. This is a short story collection, and yeah, it's just a short story collection that I haven't read yet, so yeah, it'll be fun. How many stories are in here? Like about 12 or 13 or so. That's what I'm super interested in. It's an essay collection. It's called In Other Words, Science Fiction and the Human Imagination. So in this one, like I said, it's essays, and also I think there's a few of her, what's the word I'm looking for? Like talks that she gave that are kind of, put in here also. Lectures is the word I was looking for. So, she basically talks about science fiction and speculative fiction, and I guess the impact on her and her life and things, and literature in general, and all kinds of stuff. And then there's also some of her reviews of writers of science fiction like Ursula K. Le Guin, George Orwell, H.G. Wells, H. Rider Haggard, Aldous Huxley, Jonathan Swift, and Marge Piercy, which I think will be interesting too. So I don't know, it's just interesting. Another of her poetry collections. This is called The Door. I really like that cover. I still haven't read any of her poetry. I need to do that. I need to get into that. Found Bodily Harm. So this was set on a Caribbean island on the brink of revolution. Rennie Wilford is a freelance journalist who takes an assignment in the Caribbean in the hopes of recuperating from her recently shattered life. So on the tiny island of Saint Antoine, she tumbles into a corrupt world where no one is what they seem, and where her rules for survival no longer apply. By turns comic, satiric, relentless, and terrifying, exploration of human defensiveness, the lust for power, both sexual and political, and the need for compassion that goes beyond what we ordinarily mean by love. I found Lady Oracle. Pick that one up. It says, passes one woman's bizarre life through the prism of her unique literary vision. The shy, awkward wife of a perpetual radical, Joan Foster, is a formerly obese woman whose delicate equilibrium is threatened by the fact that the several lives she has lived separately and secretly are coming together and will be exposed. So that one sounds pretty good. And I did get the complete Angel Catbird. This is a graphic novel series that she's a part of with Johnny Christmas and Tamara Bonvillain. So a genetic engineer caught in the middle of a chemical accident suddenly finds himself with superhuman abilities. With the new powers, he takes on the identity of Angel Catbird and gets caught in the middle of a war between animal-human hybrids. So it sounds cool, and I still haven't read this yet, but I'm very interested to see what this is all about. And what is so cool is I opened, and I was just, you flip through when you buy things, and there on the front cover is Margaret's signature. Now, I've seen people get signed things from Book Outlet. You never know if you're going to get it or not. They just send what they have, right? They probably don't even know it's signed, I was pretty stoked about that. And finally, this book haul is long, I'm sorry. 3 of my books of months. So this would be for July. Yeah, I just got these, So I picked up, of course, the new Blake Crouch upgrade. I don't even know what it's about. I don't think I really want to know what it's about. I'm just going to read it. This one sounded interesting. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zeven. I love this cover and this lettering. I think it looks really cool. So this one sounded cool too. So it says, on a bitter cold day in the December of his junior year at Harvard, Sam exits a subway car and sees amid the hordes of people waiting on the platform Sadie Green. He calls her name. For a moment she pretends she hasn't heard him, but then she turns and a game begins. A legendary collaboration that will launch them to stardom. These friends, since childhood, borrow money, beg favors, and before even graduating college, they have created their first blockbuster, Ichigo. And so overnight the world is theirs. This extra goes from there. Spans, I think, several, many years of probably there. I'm assuming what might be a tumultuous kind of relationship. I don't know. It sounds cool to me. And I went ahead and added on this one because I've heard good things. Olga Dies Dreaming by, is it Zoxotul Gonzalez? I should have looked up how to pronounce that. I do apologize. I love this cover. First of all, I love this cover. Love that so much. Yeah. This sounds, I think, kind of like a family story. So Olga and her brother Pedro are bold-faced names in their hometown of New York. Prieto Pedro is a popular congressman representing their gentrifying Latinx neighborhood in Brooklyn. Olga is the Tony wedding planner for Manhattan's power brokers. So they have, it seems like they have these alluring public lives, but behind closed doors they are less rosy. So it seems sort of like a nice family kind of story, drama. And again, I've heard good things. I want to get that, so I think that's it. I mean, this haul is just all over the place. Cheesy sci-fi to romance to literary fiction. I'm all over the place, but it suits me pretty perfectly. All right, friends, that's gonna do it for me. Thanks so much for watching. It was a long one. I apologize. So if you've hung out this long, thank you. I appreciate it. Till next time, though, bye.